Thank you for tuning in to a episode I did here with Steve McHugh at BroomStreet. BroomStreet Software is a strong player within the QAD space. They do a plethora of different services, but what we really focused on today was their products, specifically their mobile apps. If you've been to one of the user groups, you've heard them, stomping on the stage and pounding the podium, talking about mobile. But in order to really understand what that functionality looks like and what they actually do, we wanted to put together a comprehensive guide to all the mobile technologies that BroomStreet offers to the QAD space. So if you're a QADer and you're interested in mobilizing that application for your business, this is a great place to be, and you'll learn a lot about the 6 different apps that they offer to the QAD space.
At first, it was a slow grind. People in ERP have always worked at a desk. What can I do mobile? And there's so much you can do mobile. And the technology on these phones clearly is incredible. The iPad and the phone.
We got to cut to an old image of an iPhone.
I mean, it's just amazing. Everyone does everything on their phone anyway now.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you do ERP on your phone or write a tailored app?
Well, thanks, Steve. It's good to reconnect and talk through more things BroomStreet. It's been a minute since we did a session like this. So today in particular, we're going to be focused on the mobile apps. If you've in the QAD space, BroomStreet has a few different things that they're known for. But if you've been to the conferences, it's mobile.
That's true.
So
that is true.
So we haven't really touched on this one of these sessions, and this will be linked. If you're listening to this, in a longer form, it'll be linked out to a webinar that will be highlighting a demo of some of these mobile apps. So if from this conversation you're interested in hearing more about a particular app or seeing a demo, you can either book directly for a one-on-one demo via email, which we'll have in the show notes, or you could sign up for the webinars that we'll have related to these apps. But first things first, I feel like since it's been a little bit of time, why don't you just reintroduce yourself and kind of what your role is at BroomStreet?
I'm Stephen McHugh. I'm the CEO of BroomStreet Software.
Been in the QAD space
We've been
forever.
QAD space forever, 30 years ongoing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a milestone.
Mm-hmm.
So
is it 30 years this year?
30 years, yeah.
94?
94.
Wow, nice.
So it's exciting.
Yeah.
Always doing something new.
Yeah.
So
when did in that history did you guys start the mobile apps?
we started the mobile apps. The nexus was we were at a show in Atlanta, the QAD Explore conference.
Okay.
And we were just doing our normal consulting booth. And I said, there's nothing that distinguishes us from anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, well, why don't we just start writing mobile apps for QAD?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where that whole thing started.
Nice. Awesome.
So we built
What year was that?
I'm thinking 2013 or 2014.
Okay. So it's about 10 years.
Right.
Yeah.
And at first it was a slow grind. People in ERP have always felt, always worked at a desk, right?
Mm-hmm.
What can I do mobile? And there's so much you can do mobile. And the technology on these phones clearly is incredible.
Yeah.
The iPad and the phone.
We got to cut to an old image of an iPhone.
Right. I mean, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
So
Steve
everyone
Jobs
does everything on their
presentation.
phone anyway now.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you do ERP on your phone?
Yeah.
Or write a tailored app?
Yep.
Maybe you can't do the whole ERP, but you can certainly write a tailored app
Well, and
that solves a business
if you
need.
think about the manufacturing process, a lot of it is not behind a desk. You know what
Right.
I mean? But there's especially with a connected workforce, how are you going to have a connected workforce if you don't have some sort of mobile technology?
Right. So anything that requires approvals or releasing of credit hold or anything where you're out in the field, say a sales rep who's selling inventory out of their trunk stock, or a field engineer recording call activity on their mobile device. I mean, it makes perfect sense. Or someone running around the shop floor doing inventory transactions.
Right.
Using, I got to do a cycle count, but I don't need to even be on the company Wi-Fi. If you have a cell service, you can get to your ERP system.
Yeah.
Right. So it's very powerful, and it extends the ERP out into the connected workforce.
Yeah. One kind of very tactical question that just popped in my head I want to ask before I forget was, what's like for somebody like Eagle or like or what was it, some of the other ones that are in our at Abe Tech,
Right.
Like they're doing a lot with receiving inventory, right? And doing a lot of the scanning.
Yeah.
Why hasn't the mobile phone kind of upended that whole space?
I think it's starting to. I
Okay.
think so. I mean, those scanners are quite expensive.
Right.
You can get an Android for $100 that does the same thing.
Right.
And you can scan everything. You can talk into it.
Right.
So it's a very good. Now I know you can run Eagle, I think, on an Android
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
But this is all native apps that are
Right.
that integrate into QAD via API.
Yeah, and more conceptually, that I know Eagle's a great tool. A lot of people use it. But just conceptually, it just seems like the scanners are just kind of an old way of doing things. It feels like,
Right.
So like why wouldn't you use
A Bluetooth scanner with
Right.
your iPad
Yeah, right.
or your iPhone?
Yeah. So there's not really a good reason why that hasn't
No,
been adopted.
there's really no good reason.
Okay. Huh. Interesting.
I think people like using those devices.
Okay. Yeah. Do
As
they
a
like
workforce-
type, do they
as a-
type into them? Like if you were to
can.
type the receiver number or something?
You can,
Or
or
the
you can
package code
scan
number?
it. Yeah, you can
Okay.
do both.
Okay. Interesting.
So yeah, you use a camera with 2D barcode readers.
Yeah.
So you can do 2D barcode readers. You can scan. You can talk into it. You can
Yeah.
do everything you could possibly think of. Take pictures.
Yeah.
We have apps that you take pictures. If I'm out in the field and I want to, on a call, reference a picture that's, hey, I'm servicing one of my machines out in the field and there's water damage. I can take a picture of that,
Right.
attach it to the case, and submit it back to the ERP.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Interesting.
I can do expense reports. I can do everything on
Yeah.
that mobile device.
Is there specifically, and we'll take one step backwards here in a second to like review the whole suite of mobile apps for BroomStreet in particular, but is there any needs for like reading the data off of those that's not included in the barcode scan, like the data that's on those either packing slips or the labels that are coming in? Is there anything? Does the technology ever read what's on there outside of what's coming in from the barcode?
You mean sort of like AI type of thing?
Or like kind of like with if you're taking a picture of a check, and
Right.
it tries to read the check.
We haven't done that yet, but I'm
Yeah.
sure there's technology.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's an app on the App Store that does
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm curious
So-
if it's like needed. You know what I mean? Like, is there
I
any
don't know.
business need that you could think of?
I
like
think
that?
it would be helpful. Like
Yeah.
if for some reason the barcode doesn't scan and you
Yeah.
have to take a picture of the item or
Yeah. Right.
because
Okay.
the technology works in a way that if there's an app on the App Store that can do that,
Yeah.
we can embed that technology into an app we do.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Our developers can that's what we do with our 2D barcode scanning.
Okay.
We pull down an app from the
Yeah.
App Store that gets installed when you install, the app, and it's
Okay.
free to them.
So the barcode in theory should have all the information coming in from
Correct,
that
for most
barcode.
part. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
For like receiving and
Yeah.
doing cycle counting,
Yeah. I gotcha.
we work with companies that have barcode labels from suppliers that we have to read. Not only their internal barcodes, but external suppliers
Oh.
who have their barcode in.
Yeah.
And they may have a different format.
Yeah.
They may have a GTIN number or
Yeah.
some other item number, but we can build rules in the back end that converts that to what it should look like in QAD
That makes
or
sense.
any ERP.
Okay.
We hope to expand, maybe
Yeah.
to other ERP vendors.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so give us, taking one step backwards now, the thing about the mobile apps that BroomStreet's developed over the years. What's the list? What have you guys,
It's a pretty big list.
Yeah.
We have an order desk, which was our first one that just shows status of orders in the field.
Okay.
That was based upon an app that won a prize at an SAP conference. So we
Okay.
basically mimicked that type of app
Yeah.
in QAD.
Okay.
And it was just a quick little app that if I'm in the field, I can see the status of my orders.
Okay.
Right. So that's order desk, and you can place an order. or you could put a quote in right from your mobile phone.
So is that used by salespeople
Yes.
in interacting with customers?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Then we have like a CRM, mini CRM display app that displays all sorts of. It's like an order desk on steroids. It has all sorts of historical reporting on your iPad,
Okay,
an iPhone,
interesting.
right?
So it's all like sales data?
Sales data.
Okay,
So it's just like having it on your iPad,
Yeah.
connecting real time into your company. So
okay.
that's a sales desk app.
And is that specifically for, because I know QAD has a CRM, is that if they're using the QAD CRM, then
No,
or
we're
it's
just
any
pulling the
CRM?
sales history from QAD.
Oh, got it. Okay.
So
okay.
and
So you
know,
don't have to be using QAD CRM.
No. It's just
Okay.
like a mini way for salespeople out in the field to go to a customer, and they have all the accounts receivable information,
Yeah.
all the sales information,
Yep.
and you can all month to date, year to date,
Yeah.
overdue payments. All that information is right at their
Right.
tip.
Okay. Yeah.
They're
so
not
that-
logging into ERP. They don't need to have a role set up in the ERP, and
Right.
they don't have to even have a user in the ERP.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Is that because I'm assuming like something like a Salesforce would not necessarily have that data from the ERP available for their reporting. So this would kind of expand on the reporting that you would get in your CRM into
Correct.
what's actually happening in the ERP.
Right. And the great thing about it is it's all data level security. So
Okay.
I'm a salesperson that works in territory X. I
Yeah.
only see X data.
Okay. Gotcha.
That's a huge issue, right?
Yeah.
You don't want, or I have 10 customers I'm responsible with.
Mm-hmm.
You set that all up in our proprietary backend setup.
Mm-hmm.
So the user experience on the mobile device is geared to that set
Right.
of data,
Right. Okay.
right?
Yeah. Is there any, has there been needs to kind of consolidate from the CRM, like a Salesforce, and from the ERP into one view?
Yes. We've had people say, well, can you communicate with Salesforce?
Yeah. Right.
We can, yeah.
Okay.
Via API. All we
Yeah.
do with the app is call API. It's a telephone number.
Right.
I'm calling this telephone number to get information.
Right.
Whether that information is housed in QAD's ERP, if it's in Salesforce, if it's in a payroll system,
Yeah.
if they have an API and
Yeah.
we can call it, we can grab the data.
Okay. Yeah, because I know, especially for reporting, and someone like a salesperson, like myself, is not looking to like hop into 3 different systems to kind of
No.
consolidate data.
No.
So that would make sense to have it kind of consolidated into one.
And I know companies are really, a lot of companies go with Salesforce, so they want to have Salesforce do all that, but it can be
Yeah.
quite expensive.
Yeah. Well, and their APIs are pretty open, like
Yes.
Salesforce in particular.
Right. So we can definitely call
Yeah.
any API from these apps.
Yeah, cool. Okay. All right. So that's Order Desk and this-
Sales desk.
Sales
That's-
desk. Okay.
We have a field desk, which is our service support out in the field.
Okay.
Where companies have technicians who go out and service their
Yeah.
their machines.
Okay.
So it's an incredible app.
Yeah.
It's my favorite app. It's got so much functionality. You can.
Is this Service Desk? Is that the name of the app?
It's field desk.
Field Desk.
For
Okay.
field engineers who are
Got it.
servicing anybody who has an installed base that they go out and service. It's perfect for it. It goes out and you can enter a call, you can record labor, you can record travel time. We can build a checklist into the software. So if you're doing an installation,
Yeah.
you fill out your checklist,
Oh, wow.
right?
That's cool.
It is cool.
Yeah.
You can take pictures,
Yeah.
right? You can
Yeah.
take notes, you can attach Word documents,
Yeah.
and it all fully integrated into QAD's ERP.
Where are some of those supporting documents or images or things, or even I'm assuming like a CAD drawing, maybe even where are those stored?
They get stored in the QAD database.
Okay.
as
And
a
is
blob.
it like accessible via like the attachments
Yes.
thing in QAD?
So if I go into QAD and look at my attachments, I see the picture that the field engineer made.
Okay.
So basically, when the field engineer goes out and does a call, they record all the activity, all the document. They have a call report that's a PDF. They have a checklist, which is a PDF, and they may have 2 pictures,
Yeah.
right? So when they come into
That's
QAD, you can see
Yeah.
you can see it all.
Yeah, that's incredible. Why wouldn't anyone who has that use the field desk? What keeps
Trust
people
me,
from
it's
doing
just
that?
a matter of getting the message out there
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
doing a better job of selling, and it's a great app.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, and it's well distributed. I know a lot of people.
We have some customers using it, and it's great. You know, I think it's a great app.
Yeah.
So that app, and then we have a mobile trunk stock app.
Well, one quick question on the Field Desk app. If it's like a configurable product, or like some QAD customers I know don't really have like a not cookie cutter product in the sense that it's simplified, but they have like a lot of adaptations that they do.
There is some configuration. We can control fields that are on the app. Like if you want to display fields, extra fields, we can do out of the box. There's what they call, I think there's like 10 buttons with different activities. So maybe you don't record travel expense. So you can configure that so the app doesn't show the travel expense button. You can have dependencies. Which are configurable. So maybe you don't want to have the engineer close a call unless they've keyed in inventory usage or they haven't done another activity.
Yeah.
So you can tell so you can build that on the back end.
Okay.
It's very powerful that way.
Yeah.
And that
kind of like errors out, like as if you hadn't finished the work yet.
Right. I can't close a call because I didn't fill out the checklist.
Got it.
I can't close the call because I didn't record my labor.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Wow. So it kind of helps to enforce a standard operating procedure too,
Correct.
Around how to handle that.
Because there is a lot of functionality. People say, well, I'm not going to use all that functionality, so you can take it off.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Right. You can turn off.
So it's not noisy or,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because, the guys out in the field are there to do the job of fixing the machine.
Right. Right.
So you want to give them technology that is simple for them and that they want to use.
Right. Yeah.
Right. They don't want to have to fill out paperwork and take a picture of it, the paperwork, send it back into the office, and someone in the office keys in the call and they invoice the customer. Gotcha. People like to use technology if it's easy to use.
Oh, that's a good part to this. So like if the invoice is getting sent to the customer for that particular call, is that supporting documentation available to the customer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. When you close the call, you have you have signature lines.
Yeah.
So you can actually have an electronic signature.
Wow.
And you can also email them the call report.
Oh, wow.
That will support the invoice that eventually that will come from QAD.
Yeah. Well, I can imagine how, especially if there's high volume of calls being done, across the country, how much time that could save people for, being able to have the record automatically in the customer's hands for their invoices so that, AR is not trying to dig up everying.
Correct. All the information is coming across on the app.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Okay. So that's, what did we go through here so far? We had order desk, the sales desk.
Right. And then we have a thing called, a lot of companies use we call it mobile trunk stock.
Yeah.
Salespeople out in the field who are doing cases. It's very popular in the medical device arena. And it's sort of a combination between inventory desk and order desk, meaning the people out in the field will do cycle counting. They'll go into a hospital or a clinic and they'll have inventory and they'll use that inventory and they'll build a case. And so when they build a case, it's the same concept. They can take a picture, they have a form, they fill out what lot serial number they use the barcode reader to read the unit they've used, and they send that data back to QAD and that gets billed as a pending invoice transaction.
This is near and dear to my heart because I was one of those agents, those salespeople in the OR building out those cases. And it's, there's a lot of mistakes done. And then the lot and serial number is super important if there's anything that goes wrong with that case down the line. QA or, even legal needs to be able to review the information on that case.
Right.
And if there's something lost in translation between the case and your record, that's a huge issue.
Yes. So it's again, you're giving technology to people that normally would not have it.
Yeah. Right.
And you're giving, in the past, those sales reps would fill out some type of form.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we do. There'd be a physical form. We'd take the sticker from the
lot
inventory
number
that we opened up, put it on there.
Form.
Hopefully the nurse didn't throw it out or,
Correct.
in the middle of that.
Exactly. So then they send that back to the office. So that's another app that anybody who does that type of workflow, whether or not you use our technology, but someone, you might want to use Salesforce for that, or but that technology, there's no reason people should be filling out paper forms anymore.
Right. Yeah.
It's really a waste.
So how does that work practically in the app? Like, is it while the case is going on, the sales rep is scanning?
Well, again,
barcodes?
it's when you want to do it.
Okay. Gotcha.
You can do it after the case. You can do it prior to the case.
Yeah.
So it's really just a matter of when they
like
want to do it.
what their workflow is. You can kind of adapt. Okay.
Right.
And then does it like build the case for you? Because I know a lot of reps will be jumping between multiple cases. So is it like, you got.
Normally they finish the case and then they submit it and then go on to the next case.
Okay.
Another hospital or another.
Right. So is it like building, it kind of have like the pending case in the app? Okay.
Yes, it's pending and it gets approved in QAD. Some company, what happens is you may have 20 sales reps out in the field doing cases and maybe they do a case a day. Mm-hmm. Well, those 20 cases come into QAD as a pending case and someone in the office approves it. And once it's approved, it goes into, it invoices the customer.
Yeah.
The thing is,
that's awesome.
That could be automated as well. You don't have to get that approval from your customer service group or your financial group, but a lot of companies like that approval.
Yeah.
Right? They don't want, because the salesperson may not know pricing or they may type in 5 lots.
Or if they're jumping between hospitals, each hospital has different pricing.
Correct.
So then depending on the inventory that you're using has different pricing. If
so it's like a check. Does there have to be a check? No.
Yeah.
Like I would say if the customer service team doesn't do anything other than just hit a button to say approve it, then you could look at automated.
We had 6 people doing that in Delaware area.
Right.
We had 6 people doing that at the office for our group of reps. Just hitting the button on approve.
Yeah. But they probably got a paper form
each of us
or something.
would do like 8 cases a day.
Right, but then they would have to key those in manually.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
this would come in electronically and you hit a button and then that's it.
Yeah, that's
right into your ERP.
That's crazy. That's insane.
So that's an opportunity for any any ERP system,
you gotta
let
hit
alone
up
QAD. Yeah.
That's crazy. Wow. I didn't realize that it was like that. That's near and dear to what I used to do.
Yeah.
That used to be the bane of my existence.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the mobile trunk.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So all these technologies do a little bit like inventory desk and field desk. You can do inventory transfers in field desk. You can do cycle counting, and so a lot of them have similar functionality.
Yeah, they're kind of crossing over, but serve a specific need.
Yes.
Yeah. Got
right.
it.
Because that's what you want. You don't want someone in the ERP hunting around for data.
Yeah.
The form has to be easy to use and they have to,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. What inventory desk? I don't think we've touched on that yet.
Right. Inventory desk is a handheld Android, iOS out in the field, either in your factory floor or you have a remote warehouse. You have a remote hub location where you can do the full gamut of QAD inventory transactions, whether it's a cycle count, an inventory transfer, a purchase order receipt, a work order receipt, a work order issue, labor feedback.
Wow.
So you can do all those transactions on the mobile device. So, we have a nice chart somewhere. It's a neat marketing document that shows, why would you use the mobile? And I said, why would you use an Android on an iOS? And it's cheaper.
Yeah.
What
are they using now? Like what?
Well, the scanners.
Okay.
Scan guns.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
So a lot of people use the scan guns. And there's a lot of, but some people put our Android app on a scanner.
Yeah.
Because now the scanners come pre-installed with Android, a lot of them.
Okay.
So they'll put our app on there because the scanning capability of those scanners are kind of nice, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
An iPhone, you don't want to have to, or an iPad, you don't want to have to like go up to a barcode and flip it around. But there's also finger scanners now, and like holsters where it's like a little toy gun, and you just shoot it, and you have your iPad and shoot.
Oh wow!
So instead of using the scanner, or they use the scanner with an Android operating system that is a little more powerful. Maybe you need to go in cold areas or warm areas and things like that.
Right. Okay.
That you need a special device.
Okay. And the one that you were talking about where there's like multiple different like hubs or locations that
satellite warehouses and stock locations, right? So
tell so what that particular I think you were talking about a particular customer that was dealing with this
right. So they have
issue.
16 satellite
stock
locations, and they don't have QAD there, and they use contractors to perform cycle counts.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So it works perfectly, right? It's feeding back into QAD, and then it works the same way where it gets approved. The approval process happens, and they can.
Okay. So walk me through how this works. So like once a week or something, you'll have the contractors go into these various warehouses, these 16 remote warehouses. They'll use, what are they using to perform that inventory?
An iPad.
iPad. Okay.
They use an iPad. They do the scanning of barcodes, then they submit the count when they're done.
Yeah.
And that count comes into QAD.
Okay.
There's some variance reporting in QAD.
Okay.
And then if it looks reasonable, they accept the cycle count.
Okay.
And then that does the cycle count in the off, in QAD.
So who from like the main office is reviewing that?
That would be sort of like inventory control, finance.
Okay. Yeah. So it's like the supply chain people are doing that, or not really?
Supply. I would say more financial and inventory control. So if some companies, it's different organizations doing that type of transaction.
What happens? So like, assuming everything goes well, and all the inventory, there's not really too many variances or anything. What's the typical process? And is there anything that would need to go back to that cycle count that they did to kind of review those variances? What does that look like?
We did just do something for a customer that if they don't count something that's in the say there's 100 items and they only counted 98.
Yeah.
And an alert goes to their phone that, hey, you didn't count these two. Are you sure?
Okay.
It doesn't mean that it's wrong.
During the cycle count.
When they submit it to QAD,
I see.
it comes back and says with an alert, hey, you might have forgot these two items.
Right. Okay.
That doesn't mean they're not. It just gives them another way to go look for it.
Yeah, before they're like done.
Before they're done. So that's kind of, there's like a what's that called? A loop back?
Feedback loop. Yeah, like a real-time feedback loop.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
So that's interesting, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I did the count, but hey, just check these because maybe these are high-priced items.
Yeah.
Maybe you wouldn't care about screws.
Right.
But if these are items,
you've got like an MRI machine and you're missing two.
Right, or something. Like, exactly.
What's going on?
Yeah. That's probably hard to miss those. But
maybe go back and check, will you?
Right. So I think that's a good feedback loop, right?
Yeah. Interesting. Cool. Okay. And then, so the inventory desk itself, is it really just used for the cycle counting? Like that's what that app is used for?
Yeah. Or other things too. Transfer, receiving.
Okay.
Right.
So that's the app that would kind of be used.
The inventory
instead
desk
of like an RF Express or something.
Right.
Yeah. Got it.
So you would have at any location and you're receiving a shipment or a distribution order receipt, you receive it and it comes into QAD.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Cool. Okay.
So there's a lot of use cases.
Yeah. Goodness. We've covered a lot of it is sales and inventory, that we've covered so far. Is there any other mobile apps in those two categories in like this?
Not really.
Thing?
No.
Okay.
We like I said, we used to have one customer that all they would do on the app was approve credit hold.
Wow.
That's all they did.
Wow.
Because they only had two people in the company that did it.
Yeah.
And if they were out of the office, nothing got approved for credit hold.
Wow.
So they would get an alert on their phone when they had to approve an order for credit hold, and they would then look at the order and say, oh, approved.
Okay. Wow.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
Something that's silly.
Yeah. But it's,
right?
Keeps the business moving,
Right. And it's like, it's great, right? Oh, I get a message on my phone that I get,
Yeah. Okay. So what are there any other apps that we didn't touch that are more like the bigger, broader category? The app?
No, we did the field desk, the inventory desk,
sales desk,
mobile trunk stock. Yeah, that's really the heavy hitters.
Okay.
We've done a couple apps. We did one for admin activities, like if you wanted to reset QAD passwords.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Yeah.
How great is that?
Yeah.
Like some organizations have that type of thing going on all the time.
Right.
So it'd be nice to have a portal.
Use single sign-on would be my answer.
Yeah.
But if they don't.
Right, but there's a lot of times where they,
or they can't with it, depending on the QAD version.
Yeah, or even if they have single sign-on,
Yeah.
they type it in wrong 3 times.
Oh, I see.
And QAD disables the account.
Right, got it.
So it'd be nice to be able to re-enable an account,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. That's cool. Are there any other, so for, let's see, for one of the last apps that we went over, are there any other like customer stories that come to mind or, that you could think of, especially on like the inventory desk? I know we touched on that one with the 16 locations. How about for mobile trunk? We touched on kind of how that would be used.
Right.
Anything for like the sales desk, or anything that like you could think of like a customer has used?
Well, with the one customer for sales desk, they have all 100 salespeople who go around to their customers and they have all their information at their fingertips.
Okay.
And they were able to create an RMA, return authorization. We added that functionality to sales desk that a rep was out in the field and they were able to, while they were there, create an RMA.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
And the RMA got a label and it got sent back to, emails went out.
Yeah.
So there was some, like they picked inventory that was sitting in consignment at a hospital.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? Mm-hmm. And the rep just sent it back as an RMA.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? Because a lot of companies that we work with do consignment. So the inventory is owned by the, not by the hospital. And when they use it, right, they perform a case. That's when the usage happens.
Right. Yep. Yep.
So that sort of rolls into the mobile trunk stock. And we sort of hybrid some of our apps. Like someone using the sales desk says, hey, I'd like to be able to perform a case.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. So we just roll that functionality into the sales desk for that user and they're good to go.
Awesome. Is there, so like what kind of industries, so there's obviously specific verticals that QAD is focused on,
right.
We touched on life science. We touched on, those companies that would hold, warehouses of material.
We've done, another app I forgot to mention was our purchasing requisition.
I knew there was another one. I couldn't put my finger on.
Right, because when you were thinking about, we have automotive company that they do EAM rec approvals and QAD rec approvals.
Yeah, because those are done
separately.
In older versions separately. In the new version, it's supposed to be consolidated.
Right.
Does that work?
No comment.
Yeah, got it.
But yes, the purchasing desk allows people to approve requisitions on their mobile device, and we have automotive companies do that. Automotive really don't get into that field activity because their customer list isn't that big.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't have thousands of customers.
Yeah,
for the most part. Right. If you're an automotive supplier, you may have 10.
Right.
10 to 20.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So the mobile technology, other than field inventory desk, what we've seen in automotive, life sciences is big in the mobile trunk stock and the field service. That and then things of that nature.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. And then have you done anything with like food and beverage at all?
Food and beverage. It's a good question. I mean, that's my background, food and beverage.
Yeah, we're just talking about oyster crackers.
Yeah, so so the apps for food and beverage, I would say would be sort of like the order desk app or sales desk would help with those folks. Yeah. Inventory desk would help with any of the manufacturers.
Yeah.
But you're not going to see field inventory being done, right?
Right.
In the food and beverage. That's usually big truck type of business.
Right.
But, having being able to order product on the phone.
Yeah.
If I'm if I'm working with Cisco or if I'm working with Costco and I'm at a meeting and I want to show them all the data about their account, all that data can reside in.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there much use case for the purchasing requisition in the food and beverage?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, definitely. Okay. Yeah. And again, purchasing recs sort of fall across all businesses.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels like inventory desk, the purchasing requisition would kind of fall across anybody, even if you're not necessarily a manufacturer and a distributor. The inventory and purchasing, would really be relevant.
Yes.
Yes. So I'm thinking about like a Scoche, a big QAD customer that has, a lot of like the car mounts or
Right.
like the little, mobile boom boxes or something.
Right.
A lot of that stuff is made overseas. They're more of a distribution and brand
Right.
hub, but they'll have warehouses of inventory and obviously be purchasing.
Right.
Yeah.
And everyone's gonna buy memo items,
Right. Yep.
and that
Okay.
need to be approved.
Right.
Every organization
Yeah.
does that.
Yeah.
That
Right,
goes
for
through
your
a
G&A.
hierarchy and a workflow.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. Anything for, I guess, industrial and high tech would probably be similar vein to your automotive.
right.
As far as what
unless
they'll be using.
unless these industrial and high tech have machines out in the field.
Yeah.
I don't. That needs to be
Oh,
serviced.
Right. Yep.
Right.
Okay.
If you're servicing anything that you manufacture out in
Yeah.
the field, you should be using our field desk.
Yeah.
Period.
Yep. Yeah. Makes sense.
That's my sales.
Yeah.
That's
It's kind of confusing to think about how they would do it today. Do you have any insight?
paper.
Okay, they just do it on paper.
or they have some other technology they've implemented.
Yeah, right. Okay.
But if you're using paper
Yeah.
and sending emails,
Well, even technology that's not integrated to your ERP would be just kind of the same
like
thing.
it would be a web form that they email,
Right.
like
yeah.
a spreadsheet that they email.
Yeah. Interesting. Cool. What other challenges do you feel like a business could be? Well, what kind of, like, if you were to talk to the manufacturer, what sort of questions are you asking them about their business to determine whether or not one of these apps, like, is there?
You have to get in front of the user,
Yeah. Okay.
right? IT departments always are fighting the
Right. Big
users
projects. Yeah.
and the projects and the new technology. It seems like when we get in front of a user, they say, "Oh boy, that's a really good idea. That would save me all this time."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So when the users drive that technology, it seems to work out better
Yeah. Okay.
than IT telling you,
Yeah.
I need you to use this, right? Well, we're in service.
Yeah.
Right. IT departments are service. They support the business. Right?
Yeah.
So the business should be dictating everything.
Right. Makes sense.
Right?
And then IT's there to help enable and
right.
stress test.
Yes, and go through the, is this technology good for our company?
Yeah.
Does it meet our goals? But as far as functionality, and IT really should have no say in that matter.
Well, we might not include that.
What's that?
We might not include that depending on who we're marketing to.
That's true.
Cool.
But think about it, right?
Yeah.
If I'm an IT manager, I want the business to decide what technology they want to use, as
Yeah.
long as it fits in with corporate strategy.
Yeah, so I
like don't
guess-
go out and buy something that you don't support. Like
Yeah.
if you're an SAP,
Yeah.
if you're in Dynamics or your
Right.
QAD,
Yeah.
get something that works with that platform.
Yeah. So for something like, what are like the business drivers? Is there anything that's like makes it urgent for the business to look at one of these tools? Like, I guess for inventory, it's pretty straightforward. If you're consistently missing a ton of inventory,
Right. I think
that's a
out in the
big
field,
problem.
out in the field would be an
Yeah.
immediate
Yeah.
time savings and
Yeah.
accurate data.
Right. Yeah.
On
so-
time and accurate data from things that happen in the field.
Okay.
Because some salespeople are great at sales. They're great
Yeah.
salespeople.
Yeah.
But they don't fill out forms and
Right.
send in the data.
Yeah.
And so they're catching up like 4 weeks later.
I feel like I'm on blast right now.
Yeah.
that's me.
That's
Cool. Okay. Anything else about the mobile? I guess maybe we'll touch on, if we got a couple more minutes, just to talk about, for those IT related people, or IT people, what kind of the infrastructure, what the deployment looks like of mobile apps.
right.
and-
Well, for those in the QAD space, it all uses the same technology that QAD has. So
Progress.
and Tomcat.
Okay.
That's all you. And so if you're already an existing QAD user and you're on premise, there's no. We just install our back end code and you're off and
Is
moving.
that code installed on the QAD server, interacts
Yes.
back and forth, and then interacts with the apps?
Yes.
Is there some sort of like server in between
No.
the QAD and
There
the
can
app?
be. There can be.
Yeah.
For those people who are security conscious, they'll
Yeah.
do a DMZ server.
Right.
And
Yeah.
the DM server is the pass through to the QAD server.
Right. So it's kind of
Right.
like keeps that.
And if you're in the QAD cloud, that's how QAD cloud does it.
Okay.
They spin up a mobile server,
Okay. QAD does.
spins up a QAD mobile server where
Okay.
the app is hitting that mobile server
Okay.
first,
Yeah.
and then it redirects it to the QAD server for the.
Okay.
And
that's in the QAD cloud. They'll spin up a separate server in the
Yes,
QAD cloud for that.
right.
Is that something that is required?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So you have to have that additional server in the QAD cloud.
Unless you're not exposing it,
Yeah.
right? Inventory desk is a classic example. If you want your internal people, you don't have to expose that out in the world.
Right.
You don't have to have an outside URL, they say.
Yeah, yeah.
That's internal into your network. So you're just going to connect to your internal network Wi-Fi when you're at the company.
Yeah.
And then you're on your network. You can get to the QAD server.
Right.
Right? It's only... So for those customers...
So it'd be like an asynchronous type, for I guess, push to QAD then.
No.
okay.
Internally, you're using the app, but you're not
I see.
you're not on the worldwide. You're not
You're
on the
in
outside
their-
network.
in the local
You're in the
network.
network. We have customers who actually VPN into their network and then use the app because they don't want to expose.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Okay. And you can do that from the mobile.
Right, because every VPN company has a mobile app.
Yeah,
So they
yeah.
connect VPN, they're on the company network, and then they
Can
use the app.
Okay.
And there is a customer who does that, and it's for security reasons.
Yeah. That
Right?
makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
But other companies will spin up the, in the cloud, the QAD cloud will spin up the mobile server, and QAD charges for that.
Right.
It's
so-
a small fee.
Yeah.
It's a small fee.
Yeah. Is there a way for that server to just basically have a site-to-site VPN connection to the QAD server so that, like, as opposed to being in the QAD cloud, so like it's separate from the QAD cloud, has a site-to-site VPN
It could be,
connection
yeah.
to the QAD server?
It could.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a nice PDF on our website that has all
okay.
the deployment methods.
Okay. All right. And then that code that sits on the QAD server, is that just like an API shim? It's just like
It's
interacting-
API. It's
Okay.
SOAP-based web services.
Okay.
So we're
Okay.
using Progress Technology APIs
Okay.
that the app calls.
Okay. And is it calling into the QAD APIs? Or is it like, how is it interacting with QAD?
Yeah, once everything goes into our holding tanks first,
Mm-hmm.
but then to load into QAD like a sales order stuff, it's all
yeah.
the normal QAD methodologies.
Okay. Cool. So it uses the QAD supported integration technology
Yes.
in order to perform these transactions.
Correct. And then
Yeah.
in the future, when QAD has their real APIs
Yes.
out there,
Yeah.
we'll be calling their APIs.
Right. Yeah, because they have those 3 different layers.
Right. That's what, when they have a full API, REST-based API,
Yeah.
they're talking that with O3 product.
All right. Is there anything that we're missing on the mobile stuff?
No,
I feel
I
like
think
we
we've
covered a lot of
covered
ground.
it all. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thanks again for.
As the preacher said, I get too busy, I stop talking, right?
Yeah.
I could go on forever.
Yeah. Nice.
I get too tired, too lazy to stop talking.
I think that's good. I feel like it covers a lot of ground. I think, like I mentioned at the top, we'll have sort of a introduction to these apps via a demo on a webinar and kind of consolidate some of those related apps that have a lot of cross functionality, and then potentially do that, more industry specific. You should probably just train me on how to demo it so I can just do all those. But
Yeah.
it sounds like there'll be a few of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll have those linked, if you wanted to just sort of get a look and feel prior to really getting a demo to talk about your specific business. But then we could also have, a specific discovery call around your business and how you could deploy those mobile apps. It's pretty straightforward, the pricing, deployment, everything like that. So we can get into that more specifically for your business. But it's a very straightforward user-based, licensing model.
Monthly
subscription. Yeah, cool. All right. Well, thanks again, man.
All right.
That's
Thanks.
good. Awesome. That's a wrap.
Thank you for tuning into this conversation with Steve McHugh, the CEO over at BroomStreet Software. Today's conversation, we're going to dive into the sales desk, order desk, and mobile trunk mobile applications that BroomStreet offers to QADers. If you are a part of a sales team or you're interested in how you can leverage QAD mobily for your revenue generating functions within your business, this is a great resource for you to listen to. And then it's also coupled with a webinar that we have coming up. We'll have the link in the show notes to register for that webinar, where you'll be able to see a deep dive into each of these 3 applications and understand how they work real time within QAD. For the sales desk, you'll be able to visualize all the sales data on the go that you would find within QAD. Order desk, you can manage everything related to a sales order on the go. And then for mobile trunk, if you're a life science company or you manufacture medical device, it's a really great tool for consignment inventory, managing a sales team on the road, and just really extending the QAD application mobily for those functions. So again, register for the webinar, but this video will give you a good overview if you're interested in those 3 applications.